betrayed in the Southern Compromise
No,
after
it's even
Reconstruction.
before that. Before that,
I'm not saying it was going on after the Civil War before that, but then with the troops down there, it was somewhat like how it was when Obama was in office. You had the facade of protection.
it was.
But
It
when
was. It was. Wait a minute.
ended,
Wait a minute. It was worse. Obama had the.
the
Obama
facade.
had the capacity to protect the lives of black people, and there were white people begging Obama to do it. Obama willingly sacrificed the lives of thousands of black people that were killed or
There
beaten
were
by.
white people that was begging for
There
it.
were white people that begged. Obama hates black people's guts. Our problem, there are two things that happened back in Reconstruction too. And if you pick up Eric Foner's book on Reconstruction, the, forgive me, I, we all have them. Light skin, mixed, half white blacks joined the Republican Party and hijacked the movement to really get justice for black people in the 1860s. The history of black Americans of the masses is being betrayed by people that we're supposed to look up to and opposition from the other populations. And so the civil rights movement is just another example of, because I'm going back to Atlantic City in 1964, when Fannie Lou Hamer was on there saying, we've been beaten, we've been tortured, we've been killed. I mean, we've been terrorized because we simply want the things that are in the Constitution that people say are rightfully ours. And President Johnson went around and said, you tell those niggas who want these good federal jobs that maybe Elon Musk needs to take all this shit away from these entitled sellout black folks who have a cradle to grave job, who don't know what other black people go through, who don't give a damn for their asses to suffer like the rest of us. It's a good ass thing. That's how I feel about it. Make them feel like I feel when I get turned down in private industry applying for an opportunity, and you guys act like racism doesn't exist because you had some bisexual tether as president. I mean, to hell with that.
Dr. Short, let me reset the room for the people in here, because I know where you're going, but I want to set the table for the people who just got in here. We here live with Dr. Randy Short. Dr. Randy Short right now, if y'all look at the title, we're talking about some of the things that may be coming to an end right now with Trump. We saw the USAID, but when Dr. Short and I were on the phone earlier, he was like, these boule sellout niggas. This whole Trump changing and pulling money away from all this stuff, this is about the black people that's going to hurt the most. It's going to be them kind of black folks that wouldn't pass and shit to us anyway. Not saying that, I'm going to be very clear for some of y'all out there. It's not saying there's not going to be collateral damage. There are going to be very good, upstanding black people who are going to suffer too. I'm not saying that's not going to exist. It's going to hurt a lot of people. And it's going to hurt a lot of good people. But the primary target, just like the USAID is they're targeting those liberal-minded white people. This whole thing going on right now with the federal funding being taken, this is something that's going to hurt a lot of these boule Negroes who've been in government and been around, and they've gotten legacy jobs over the last 150 years just to make sure we get nothing. So Dr. Short is this is a lot of what he's talking about. Just give you a context as to why we're talking about this. And from here, go ahead, Dr. Short. You go ahead and take it on.
So going back to President Johnson, they went around and the different state committees said, you tell all those Negroes, if they dare support those broke sharecropping niggas from Mississippi and their right to jobs after they've been through everything, there have been genocides in Mississippi. If you support them, you're not going to get these white jobs, the few that we set aside for you Negroes we want to use to control the rest of them. And they all turned their backs on the movement and on the black masses. And you need to understand, within, say, 2 years, when Dr. King went to Chicago, all the black elite, when Dr. King started talking about helping black poor in the slums, they washed their hands of Dr. King. People need to understand. Malcolm's assassination came along with the support, silent support of black elites, as did Martin Luther King's assassination, as was the assassination of Medgar Evers, although the NAACP used him as a fundraiser after they refused to give him protection. And they had used another fundraiser, Harry Moore and Harriet Moore, who were blown up in 1951. The NAACP refused to give them protection too. So a lot of people and a lot of black political prisoners, Mumia and all these people, are fundraisers for fake leftists and so-called progressive Negroes who, with their white liberal friends, live good eating lobster tail and coconut shrimp, as black people who fought for your rights rot and die in prisons. And I'll tell anybody, in fact, I can tell the world about this. When I went to one of the black political prisoner organizations and says, I have friends who talk to Trump, and I've convinced them, Mumia and all of them need to walk. Give me as many people who are black political prisoners that you guys will back that need to be pardoned by Trump now, if you would. I'm not asking you to be a Republican. I know you're a black Marxist Leninist. I get it. But what about your comrades that have been rotting since the 60s? Can't we get them out? And do I sound like an Uncle Tom that's kissing a white racist ass? Or do I sound like a black person who's concerned about black folks that gave their all for me? Do you know what that
black person that's concerned for black people?
No, they put me on the do not contact list. I'm a bad person. I'm a white nationalist. And they've let these people rot. I made this request in 2017. They stopped talking to me. I did the same thing for Marcus Garvey. Trump and them, we could have kicked off Garvey's pardon in 2017. The people who had just got Biden to do it the last minute didn't want Trump to get any shine with black people, so they'd rather Marcus Garvey's family endure another 7 years of the indignity of him being convicted for trumped up charges. See, there's an ideology. I hate the other party so much. If they were handing out gold bricks to black people, say, don't take it, it's from the Republicans. Damn it. Give me all the bullion. I don't care who it comes from. That includes the CCP. They can pay me, but it don't mean I'm going to eat with your communist chopsticks. It means I need something. We need our MFM. And anything that gets us close to getting our MFM is a step we have to take. So the betrayal of black people started with the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And once black folks became a super major force in the political party, the Democratic Party, they became political sharecroppers. And like it was in sharecropping, you put in a whole lot, but you don't get very much back. In fact, you don't get enough to live on. And they keep coming around, and you always get robbed. And we've been getting politically raped and robbed by the Democrats now for 60 years. No, I don't say the Republicans like black people. The Lily Whites got rid of the Arthur Fletchers, the Frederick Douglasses, the kind of people that would tell you, damn it, there used to be a thing called the kitchen cabinet. These were black activist leaders who would tell the president what black people needed, and no uncertain terms whether they wanted to hear it or not. Something that this goddamn black Congressional Black Caucus does not do. And they have more than enough power. They're the largest caucus in Congress and can't get one damn thing that black people want by choice. Now, the Republicans replaced the Frederick Douglass Republicans with these sellout, single-issue nigger folks who only care about abortion, so I call them sinners. That abortion, I hate abortion. Just so we're on record, my grandmother died at 40. She had anywhere from 6 to 18 illegal abortions. I hate abortion. It's murder. I don't give a damn who don't like it. Go to hell. Abortion's murder, it's genocide, and we got to stop it. And I don't give a fuck about what's his name, Jamal Bryant and these other people. It's another body inside of you, fool. It's not a woman's body. If you just want to be your body, keep your damn legs shut. You're killing someone. That's why they're harvesting the organs. And who has the best organs? Black people do. And the best blood, too. When are we going to stop being so stupid? And you can't blame white people anymore. If in fact white folks have devil horns in the tail and you know all that, and you go with every okadoke that the devil brings to you, it's your fault. Now, if he made you do it, that's different. We're not being
Yeah.
forced anymore. I did in them. Nobody made them borrow that damn baby oil. And do you know what we could have done with that baby oil money for your platform or for a backpack or school supply drive? I mean, black American people have more than enough money, but along with the betrayal of the masses, remember when Dr. King started talking about poverty? All of the black elite, the boule betrayed them. And by the way, I can't stand Elon Musk, but I want to say Elon Musk and them have frozen the money going to the HBCUs.
Yeah, good. Go.
And
Speak on that. Speak on
I'm
that.
kind of happy, not because I don't want the HBCUs to get money, but I'm an HBCU brat. Or to you coon boulets, I'm an HBCU bastard. I know Howard University hasn't had an audit of the billions of dollars that they've received in federal monies from the government since the late 1980s. And when you think about Howard getting a minimum of $400 million a year, that's the bottom. They get others. So let's say Howard has gotten $600 million a year for 10 years. That's $6 billion. Does Howard's campus look like they've had $6 billion? Where the dorms have
Six.
enough, they have enough.
They had the rat infestation a couple years ago, didn't they?
They had it when I exposed it to. I mean, look, you don't have to ask me. You can ask Sam Ford. When they had the mice, they had a person that was Omega Psi-Phi who probably swung both ways, who was friends to the switch-hitting President Howard. Yes, Patrick Swigert, nigger, come for me and let me have that chauffeur that you were sexually harassing if he's still alive. There's a court record. Fear me. I don't like you, never have. Okay. See, that's why Jaguar and I get along. I don't like none of y'all. Okay. It's war. Switch hitting, lying, grifter, frauds. I don't think the money reaches the students or the faculty or the grounds or anything. Where's all this money going? Why is Tennessee State in trouble? Why is Cheney State in trouble? Why are all these black schools perennially in trouble? And yet you educate people. You've got business schools and the school can't do accounting? That is just like in Africa, where the governments steal everything and it never reaches the people, like the USAID, and all the foreign aid goes and they steal the food aid they sell at a premium. We've been occupied by a sixth of black people, or no more than 10%, hoard everything, and they're deliberately not developing us because our poverty, our misery is a profit center to the upper echelons of the black community. And we need a black revolution and civil war within our own race. This is the real problem. I don't fear white people. We learned in 1919 when they had the Red Scare and white folk were attacking black people and waging war, just a few black people standing up, and that kind of stopped happening. White people want a massacre. They want a genocide. They don't want to fight. Look at Israel. They won't even let you get any news because they're getting, the people are fighting back. It's not going with all that bombing and everything. It's not completely going the way you want. They like massacres. The warfare of the Anglos globally has worked on attacking unarmed civilian populations. Anglo people never fight people who have weaponry that are willing to fight. And if they do, they lose. They lose in
All the time.
Vietnam, they lose in Iraq, they lose in Afghanistan, they lose everywhere when people says, I'll fight you if
Shit,
you
damn
fight
near
me.
Korea.
Korea,
Korea was
they were fought to a draw by the Chinese. They lose in Cuba, Bay of Pigs. They lose anywhere where people says, I'm going to kill you if you kill me. But if you're saying we shall overcome and I just want to live next door to you and I hate myself and God, where's the skin whitening cream and my hair's not blonde enough and I hate being black and abort our babies. Well, you know what? I'm not a black man, I'm a black woman. This is what the Boule and all these people have done. They have it in the church. We're
real
being
quick,
set
Dr.
up
Short.
for elimination by these people, but and what we're seeing now.
One second, Dr. Short. 1 second, Dr. Short. I want to remind everybody, Dr. Short's birthday is on Sunday. We have his cash app right there under his face. Please donate to him. He's giving us his information. He's giving us his wisdom. Donate to his cash app for his birthday. Dr. Short, I got to step away for like 5 minutes. You go ahead and take it on over.
Oh yes, so you got guys. Let me just be real with you. Howard University is one place I know a little bit about, and I love the idea of places for black people and anybody to learn. But I'll give you an example of fraud. In the 1970s, when they began to give money to graduate students at Howard University, which is what you need, they were giving people like about $650 a month. That wasn't bad in the 70s. But in the 2000s, they were giving me $650 a month. Sound crazy to you? Who in Washington, D.C., with the craziest gentrification and an increase in housing cost, the most overheated housing market in the country, who can survive on $650? And you better not work or they'll take the scholarship away. Where did all this money go? You know, the National Science Foundation actually the government came after Howard and the National Science Foundation as well, were upset because NASA had a project, speaking of environmentalism, all these coon-ass niggas in the CBC that talk about environmentalism, right? This is insane. These people, and NASA said, you know what? Someone black over there said, you know what? We get all these huge grants and they only go to predominantly white institutions. Why not get a couple of grants over to the black school? Let some young black people have an experience, right? Let them get some of this and they get to travel and see something that will help enlighten them. So they gave Howard a huge sum of money. At minimum, $1 million. It was probably more. And all they had to do with this thing called a sun oven, a solar oven where they could bake bread or cook in Africa without having to cut down the trees so it could prevent desertification and soil erosion, all a good thing. And the Howard people got it. I think it went to the School of Engineering. And the people from the School of Engineering spent $990,000 or more on trips, junkets, fun, and they spent about $10,000 on the students. How do I know? Because I snitched and I got those niggas in trouble. How dare you? I mean, the Africans lost. The people at NASA that were black that put their ass on the line to give an opportunity to black young people. Everybody got screwed for a handful of Boule, Greek letter, Prince Hall Mason, Eastern Star horse and tricks to blow the money out of their ass. When there would have been even more money in the future for the school, for the students. Howard University students graduate the most indebted in the country. And the only reason I know that my student loan will get paid off is because, according to the Social Security Administration, I am disabled. And therefore, when my award letter comes, I'm going to write off my $200,000 or $300,000 in Jesus' name. But I want to tell you another story. A white congressman from New York, of the Hebrew faith no less, learned about the indebtedness of Howard University students and said, we're going to help those young people because it's the right thing to do. Came up and got some money, and the whole idea, it's going to sound beautiful. The whole idea was to pay students, it's about 2,000, $20 an hour. Their scholarship would be paid in full. Their books would be paid in full. They would have a housing stipend. And they would get paid $20 an hour to go into underserved, underperforming schools that are predominantly black in DC and help do something to turn around the District of Columbia Public Schools, as well as the students would graduate without having to borrow money. They would have money. Howard University refused the program. They said, we're not a charity. So they'd rather have their students graduate indebted and that they not serve low-income blacks in Anacostia, Southeast DC. This is absolutely crazy.
That's crazy.
Are you understanding me? Why refuse? All they have to do is say yes. It's because they hate. We've got an element of black people who are traitors in other races, other groups. These people would hang from the lamppost. They would scare enough of them. How dare you say you represent us, or that you look, and you only help yourself. This is the problem. And those same people, like that punk ass Jamal Bryant, that wants folks to boycott Target when Target employs black people. Who does Jamal Bryant employ other than the women that he sleeps with? I'll put my money on Target, and I'm not even big on corporate America.
Dr. Short, you saying a whole lot right there about, and as I want people, Dr. Short and I have older videos. As a matter of fact, some of those I took down because of YouTube that are going to be re-uploaded to Patreon, where he broke down the bootleg. We've had long videos on breaking down who is who and what is what. And so I encourage you guys to go back and check those archives. We're going to create a Dr. Short channel over there on Patreon. Some of that stuff from a few years ago, we had to take down off the channel. I got notices. I got flags. But this video was like 4 years old. I got a flag for it. What up? You know?
No. I'm under shadow ban. Look, I've got a channel. I got a channel.
I was just saying that what they did was YouTube. They a lot of older videos with Dr. Randy Short when we were really going when it was hella raw during the pandemic and after the pandemic. Y'all got to find us on, but we did talk about this. But I want you guys to also, Dr. Short, again, donate. It's Dr. Randy Short's birthday. We are celebrating his birthday.
Yes.
This coming Sunday, February 9th. We're celebrating his birthday 2 days early. What I want you, Dr. Short, to now transition into this whole USAID thing. I know people have been asking me, all of this stuff that's getting shut down, Elon Musk coming in, USA, is it good? Is it bad? Tell the people about the USA,
okay,
and then what it is and what we should be expecting.
Okay. The USAID basically is almost like the good cop to the CIA being the bad cop.
Yeah.
Okay. What they do is they send over genetically modified food. They send over bad contraceptives that are deadly. They promote LGBTQ. They promote confusion, in particular in Africa. And on top of that, a lot of the money goes to a bunch of rich or entitled white kids who can't find work, which goes into non-governmental organizations. Oftentimes, these are basically pedophile and sex safari junkets for folks who like cheap black meat. Yes, I said it just like that. And they ain't really doing nothing to change. They haven't built a clinic, a hospital. They haven't even built a condom factory in Africa. And that's certainly a place that they could use them and make them a little larger than the Chinese size. I think that's a, trade secret you should, right? So the USAID is useless. And what they really need to do is stop undermining African agriculture by dumping American agricultural goods that aren't even good for us to eat on people in Africa. Why are the Chinese building trains, roads, buildings, hospitals? I mean, the communist Chinese who killed 60 to 80 million Chinese with the Great Leap Forward, even the bloody Chinese CCP can be good for something, sort of like a sex toy and a monastery for Catholic priests, right? Every now and then, even the Chinese communists get it right. The USAID, like a lot of things, is to keep Africans poor and desperate so the white countries can take their shit and they never develop and they can't. In fact, they want to depopulate. There's a whole program around AIDS and everything else to prevent Africa from having a population larger than 650 million people. Because if Africa had that many, they may begin to need their own resources and they couldn't be taken cheaply or without a lot of resistance. So, I mean, you come up with AIDS, you get all these wars, all these things are driven by outsiders. Some of them in the Middle East, some of them in Europe, Western Europe in particular, and America. And so all this killing in Congo, it's all facilitating. It's a big profit center for people who say black folks are dirty and poor and don't have anything. And the reason we don't is because you're robbing us globally. That's what the USAID, and the main thing that they push in Africa is DEPO. DEPO contributes to you getting AIDS. DEPO causes mental illness, suicidal ideation, balding, osteoporosis, breast cancer, and a range of other things. It's the most destructive thing in the world, and it's targeted towards black women. And you're going to get a lot of domestic violence because it kills the libido. And in Africa, if nothing else, you're going to get your plantain on. So can you imagine you got 4 wives and none of them want to screw ever? I mean, you'd be thinking, sniffing in your arms and such, you want to beat somebody's ass, right? I mean, all the foo-foo I gave you, right? They've deliberately pushed these things, and they're also pushing LGBTQ. You'll find that a lot of this USAID money was secretly being funneled. I don't know. There is a woman called Pepe in Uganda who's now being supposedly transitioning into a man. And these Africans are getting their sex changes paid for through proxies of the USAID. They're promoting, I mean, look, do you have gay people in Africa? I'm sure. I mean, something happens over there. I mean, right? But imagine a nation promoting state-sponsored sodomy, state-sponsored eugenics, state-sponsored bisexuality, when everybody knows that AIDS and these other diseases are sexually transmitted, including monkeypox. Why are you promoting the most dangerous types of sexual behavior in countries that you told us was full of AIDS, other than you want the people to die? Let me remind everybody how even that little ugly bitch Melinda Gates was celebrating how many Africans were going to die of COVID because they didn't have the ability to wash their hands. These people openly say out loud there are too many Africans they need to die off. Why are there so many? That's what it's about. Kill black people with a smile.
See, that's why I wanted this topic to come up today, because most people don't even understand what it is, and because this is one of those things that they operate sort of in secrecy. I didn't tell you about this, Dr. Short, but I want your opinion on this. I found out my man Mark Prince hit me up the other day, and if you I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but there's a website called DataRepublican.com. And on this website, I want you all to use it. You can do a federal grant search.
Hmm.
And so what I was doing was I was playing around with it the other day, and I typed in the word transgender to see how many federal grants. It's about a few million transgenders, and the trend. Look how much money goes to 38 million at Tennessee Department of Health, Indiana 34 million, and you go down the line. When you add up all of the money with the keyword transgender, it's gonna take a while to calculate. Oh, here it is. Taxpayer money spent just under 500 billion. When you type in the word African, type in the word LGBTQ, put that in, and you see how much money goes to them. When this number comes up, it's going to be a number close to. This is going to be a number that's closer to 1 point. Here it is, basically 1.4 billion LGBTQ stuff.
And yet Africans.
Let me finish. Type in African American, and you go from basically 1.5 billion. You got 20 million gays that are registered that are sharing $1.5 billion in federal funds. Type in the term African American, and this includes Jamaicans and everybody else too, and the African American Africans too. You got about 1.5 billion being shared between for resources for about 50 million people. There's about $1.5 million in federal grants going to stuff that can help about 50 million black people. We're getting the same amount of money that's earmarked in federal grants for us as less than 20 million gays and just a little more than a few million transgenders. This is something that's just recently come out with this new Doge bullshit ass administration, but really showing that, hey, we can now look and see where the money's going. I want to know your thoughts on, when it comes to these grants and
Okay.
how this works.
It's money laundering. Let's be real. The people pushing all of this sexual confusion are the pharmaceutical corporations and their couple of billionaires, gay billionaires they want all this stuff, I mean, they think that poo-poo should be the national dish for America. And if they could force it and, make people have doo-doo as part of the school lunch program, they would, because they find it good. And we should all change to suit them. And I'm not exaggerating. I don't care if someone doesn't like it. Look, the pharmaceutical corporations don't give a damn about same-sex attracted people. Promoting sexual promiscuity and dangerous sex, sometimes called SAS, skin abrasive sex. In particular, that's up the ass, if I could make it more crudely for people who don't get technical stuff.
You don't need to, we get it.
Okay. That is the most dangerous sex of all to have. And because your behind is vascular tissue, which means there's lots of blood in it. So if you're driving something up in there, you bust blood vessels, right? And semen is foreign. Monoxynil 9 that comes on condoms is foreign. So these people get massive contamination every time they do this stuff, with or without a condom. Even if you put your mouth there, the most dangerous place on your body is your mouth. It's dirtier than your butthole. So if you put your mouth on someone's butthole, all the plaque and stuff on your teeth that you've been brush, right, gets into someone's bloodstream. I'll just tell you, brother, I think I got a blood transfusion when I had my heart attack from someone that was involved in some really crazy sex, because I had all of these blood illnesses. And I looked at paperwork. I've never had an STD in my life, nor will I ever have one. But I mean, I almost have some type of weird hepatitis I've never had. That means the blood that they gave me that had the drug-resistant bacteria that could have killed me. Hold on. Let me stay on point. So what I'm saying to you, the intercourse that they're promoting is a vector for disease, and it's a profit center because as you treat these diseases, these microbes and things, they mutate, and they know this, which means we used to have one herpes. Years ago, we had 10. I haven't checked. There may be 15 strains of herpes. The same way most people are unaware. They think of hepatitis A, B, and C, but they've never heard of D and E, and there's possibly an F. And the funding to research sexually transmitted diseases is all about what makes the most profit for the pharmaceuticals. So if there's a disease out there that's killing people right now, like people dropping dead, like septic gonorrhea, if there's no funding for it, then they don't talk about it and people die. However, if they can get funding lined up with AIDS or whatever, like diabetes or something, then they can make drugs off of it. And it's actually good business for them to support things like Pride Month and gay education in school because you're going to have customers. Because if you get infected by some of these diseases, you know there are pills that cost $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000, and you need to take it monthly. So you get all. I mean, this is all this money, and if you've got a good gay lobby in the state that says we don't let us die, you hate us because of our sexual practices, then the state and the cities will set aside and pay for these very expensive medications for this very sexually reckless population. And you have stuff like Pride Month. And I can assure you, even this year, by July or August, there will be outbreaks because people do all kinds of crazy sex during Pride Month. Not that heterosexual people aren't nasty all year round, just we don't have a Pride Month for straight people to be hog wild, whether they're hog wild or not. So as these people get sick, and you can check the CDC. In fact, the CDC website got hacked under Biden. You used to be able to get information like shingles comes from eating bowel movement, and yet they scared the whole public. The shingles is the chicken pox that your grandparents had. No, this is shingles from people having raves and doing stuff. And you scared the public. You got all kinds of people being vaccinated because they're afraid that chicken pox is going to come back. Instead of being told, no, the real outbreak is linked to men eating bowel movement. And even when children get chicken pox, it's because they stuck their finger in their behind and put it in their mouth to say, oh, what's this like? Right? And you got chicken pox.
I don't know about that. I had chicken pox and I ain't never had
I
no
didn't
shit
say
on my
that I
goddamn
didn't say
tongue.
that you did that. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you touched someone that didn't wash their hands. But that's how
I
a lot of
touched my
kids get.
cousin that had chicken pox.
Okay, well, but he must have put his finger in his behind or something, or you didn't wipe right
Yeah.
and didn't wash his hands. That's why you got to wash your hands. A lot of people, you see them go to the bathroom, they
All
don't
right.
wash their hands. It's amazing. So what I'm saying to you, meningitis B. Remember you had the meningitis B 10 years ago outbreak in Los Angeles. About 5 or 6 gay men died. And what they did, because you don't want to, the gays have this thing called stigmatization. Stigmatization means talking about diseases that happen to a particular community or blaming or even talking about what's true. So that's why you don't have any more sex education about STDs because it makes people feel bad. I mean,
So
you don't.
let's get back into the
I'm
USAID's
still on
impact, brother.
USAID. It's still connected. And so
Yeah, I
what I'm
get it,
trying
but
to
I'm just
say to
trying
you
to
is
move it along past this part. But go ahead.
USAID knows that Africa's the future. Africa's going to have 5, 6 billion people. If you have a bunch of them screwing with STDs and Africa's economy goes up, then they're going to have to buy the drugs and all that have been developed off of the people doing Pride Month here. Do you understand me? And remember when AIDS was out and there were generics and Fauci and them were saying that people, Brazil and other places, you can't develop treatment for AIDS similar to what we have. You have to buy our overpriced stuff and they blackmail people. Your people will die if they can't pay the price that we say that you must pay for the drugs. Are you understanding me? So there is a huge amount of money to be made in this sexual anarchy. And that's why they push it. And that's why that money goes to these communities. They don't say, we love you and you need to not do this because this is what could happen to you. Having worked as a person that tried to keep people from getting AIDS, to talk to people, to beg people, don't die for this. They're saying, die for it. And if you don't want to die, buy all this medication that will kill you anyway. And so when you watch TV and you see all these commercials, a lot of these are for STDs. And if you start looking, it's targeted towards the very people I'm making reference to. They want this in Africa. One day soon, Africa today, before today is over, 6 out of 10, if not 7 out of 10 children in the world born will be born in Africa. Africa will be the future of the world's economy. So why not get a leg up on getting those folks queered out so you can roll in with the solution? That's how they operate. Create a problem, come up with the solution, and get paid. That's what USAID is doing. It goes back to 1965, where that no good bastard, Lyndon Baines Johnson, listening to a racist by the name of Dr. Ravenholt, was told, if you don't want to go broke killing black and brown people, you need to promote LGBTQ and abortion and bad birth control. Because if you can kill up or get rid of a quarter to a third, a half, you're saving money. And the way he reasoned is for you'll save 90 cents on your dollar having to kill people fighting over the resources that you're ripping them off for. If you kill them before they become a guerrilla soldier, you'll have to spend a whole dollar to kill them. But if you give me 10 cents, I can sterilize their mother. I can get them aborted. I can get the mother, I can turn somebody out. And so, in fact, Henry Kissinger was saying that they wanted to develop a hormonal bomb that they could drop to make everybody black gay because they're afraid of the black American population. This is part of dominating people and getting paid off of it. USAID is the grinning good cop of white supremacy, bigotry, colonialism, genocide, eugenics, and neocolonialism.
Okay, that's real talk. So I thank you for breaking that down. So we understand how this hustle's going on with some of these grants, not all. We understand what's going on with the USAID and how what Trump is doing can affect the boule. Dr. Short, you broke it a lot down in a short amount of time. Please, Dr. Short's birthday is on Sunday. Let him know you love him.
Yeah, treat me like I'm white.
Yeah, because he brings us information. My channel takes a hit when I bring him on, but
yes,
I have to. Certain things are just worth it. Certain as far as information, it's not always about numbers. It's not always about this and about that. It's about when I feel that we need some information broadcasted to everybody, we do it. Dr. Short and I had a very dope Patreon this past Wednesday. That was, if you think this,
did you get some views? How many views did you get?
Yeah, I didn't check the numbers, but I know a lot of people. I got a lot of thank yous. I got a lot of. I appreciate everybody that said thank you over on the Patreon.
And I tried to subscribe today to your channel.
What we did was,
it wouldn't let me.
On the Patreon, what we did was we had a really good Patreon, and I want y'all to go back and check it and listen to it. Because again, it's a lot more over there that we said. With that being said, Dr. Randy Short, I want to bring it on in, and start to wrap it up because I know we have a lot to get done today.
Okay.
Can you please just, out of all we've talked about today, where is this headed? Like, we're gonna bring you back on again pretty soon, but
sure.
For the next few weeks, what do you see here this month of February? You were already right about Ramaswamy being out before March. You were super right about that. What are we in for the rest of this month of February in politics?
If you ask me, you're going to see massive resistance to the Trump agenda. It's already growing. And you're also going to see some people in particular, if in fact there are going to be some issues. And I'll tell you the thing that is a tar baby. Elon Musk, or as I say, eat my butt, him being a white South African and some of the stuff he's into is it's too he's too hot for Trump to keep holding. Trump's going to have to let him go, and I don't know if it's going to happen between now and Pride Month, but they've already began to slow him down. And I don't know if he's the kind of person, he seems kind of off the wall, that he can be disciplined or corrected. And it may end up that they have to like put his ass out to pasture like a horse that broke its leg at Churchill Downs. And I hope the
Hmm.
sooner the better. So I think he's gone. The other problem is the BRICS countries coming together. Elon Musk and the stuff that they're doing, threatening tariffs, the BRICS countries now have more productivity than the United States and its allies. And it has a greater percent of the world's population. This is going to be an issue. The dollar's in trouble. And I'll tell you something else. They're freezing all the Section 8 money. And, I don't like that. I don't think it's fair. They're messing with people. We could have bread riots and we could have tenant riots very soon. And you could also have people in real estate crash, lose everything because they're not getting their money. So can you imagine you have a year lease? Let's say you have a building full of Section 8 people, and all of a sudden they can't pay you. And
I
you know,
have a building full of Section 8 people in one of my
and
buildings.
you know that the people that money was promised to them, and
They
all of a
can't
sudden,
afford that rent.
yeah, they
They
can't
can't afford
afford
that
that
rent.
rent. So what is that going to do to everybody that had millions of people under Section 8? It's going to cause problems for small people, not like BlackRock. It should be called Black Cock because they're certainly boofing us. It's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt people that sell food. I mean, it's going to hurt people that do nails. It's going to have a ripple effect through the economy. As well, we're coming up on the time of the year that people renew their contracts for commercial real estate, and American commercial real estate is crashing. They're going to have to start thinking about cutting some stimulus checks and doing some things for the public, or you're going to have a lot of mass discontent. See, on top of that, I see conflicts, increasing conflicts with people whose asses need to go back to where they came from. So I see a lot of space for lots of conflict. I see Boule people who are feeling very desperate that are trying to get black people into a racial conflict. These people, if they fought for us, we wouldn't have any problems because they could have cut a deal with Trump. They refused because they didn't care about what happened to us. And had Kamala won, we wouldn't be any better off. So I see that happening as well on the cultural front. Things like Diddy being in the hospital, TD Jakes being exposed. In fact, I can't wait for the Pride Month marathon of all the young brothers from the church that TD Jakes pushed up on. Once people see blood in the water and that he won't have enough money to pay out everybody that he tried to screw, we're going to see a lot of implosion amongst the black elite, the folks that we've been told to look up to. The only thing you need to look up to is God. People will always let you down. I might love God, but you know how many wipes and toilet paper I use? You don't want to know, because I'm human. I take a poop behind two heels. Okay, and I need some pumice stone because my heels are kind of crusty. Imperfect people fail. This system that we have, the American empire is contracting. And my thing is, in being an empire, you sort of have to be like a pimp. You got to fuck as much as you fight. In America, we're a pimp that just likes beating people. No hoes gonna put up with that. America's put out too many ass kickings and not enough touching and squealing. I love you, baby. No, go out and pop your pussy. Bring me back some Moet. America has lost its skill as an empire to be a nice pimp. Being a brutal pimp, eventually a hoe is going to want to stab you. And maybe fellow pimps want to take you out. So this is spinning out of control. I think, in a certain way, the Trump presidency is a distraction from the fact that the dollar's in trouble, gold is up, real estate's going to crash. They destroyed a lot of the small farms and small businesses. This tech bubble is going to bust. The shit's overpraised. And we're kicking people's asses out of the country. we're headed towards, when it gets warm, we're going to have issues in this country. God forbid they do another disaster like California, like Los Angeles, and stuff burns up, and the government shows itself supposedly the richest country in the world that can't address the natural disaster, or it's late. So Trump and these other people are going to have to be about their business. I do like them being a bull in the China closet, but the problem is at some point you got to put the China that you smash back together. And the question is, are people better destroying things than they are in building? Where are high-speed rails? Why are roads screwed up? Look at what some of our subway systems in New York, that shit looks like something out of a Star Wars. I mean, the Star Wars bar, right? Instead of what they have, I've been to other countries. Ethiopia has a better looking metro system than New York. Addis Ababa. How the hell is that countries that we see as shithole nations have better infrastructure? Why can't we do that? And I think there's going to be a boon for jobs, and it's going to be wild, but I do believe very soon it's just going to be open season. I mean, that you get $1,000 per illegal that you turn in. That may be the new job, you know,
Uh-huh.
like
Like the
illegal,
slave catchers back in the
illegal,
day.
illegal.com. Okay, so, but pray for America. America needs to turn to God and wake up. And on top of that, I'm going to tell you, these people being kicked out of the country, there will be a repercussion. There's going to be so much fentanyl in this country, you're going to think it's snow. Pray to God that people can overcome their resistance in America to feel good all the time.
That's it. I appreciate that, Short. Yeah. We're going to keep this up on YouTube as long as I see y'all chat. This might be up over on Patreon, too. We said a lot today.
Yes. How many views did you get? Did you at least get
I don't,
1,000 on Patreon? I hope
I
you
don't know.
got some views.
I don't know. I don't have that many people on Patreon, but we got 1,000 people watching right now between Twitter,
Ooh,
YouTube, and
1,000.
Facebook.
Ooh, that's
Between
scary.
the three platforms,
That many
we got over
people?
1,000 watching right now.
Ooh, that's
Um,
scary. That's scary.
yeah. So
That's scary.
I appreciate you, Dr. Short.
Okay.
We'll have you back on again to give us an update to see what's going on in this country, because things are moving hot, heavy, and fast. And today, Elon Musk put up some tweets talking about how much he loves Donald Trump. I made sure to bookmark those tweets and screenshot those tweets so that I can go back to those tweets when they inevitably break up.
Long live Jaguar Wright. Happy birthday, civil rights, human rights legend, Reverend Walter Fauntroy.
Happy birthday.
Walter Fauntroy turned 92 yesterday. Dear friend of mine.
Gave me a call last week.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I got to get the call again.
And by the way, I was talking to Peter Bailey. His birthday's the 24th. I know you've heard of him. And you can't rush these old Negroes who's in the Audubon ballroom. Malcolm X got shot 3 days before his birthday in 1965. And so, I mean, when you bring up Malcolm, it's drag. But anyway, it's been a blessing. Dr. Randy, $ Dr. Randy Short as a Cash App. I do a PayPal and a Zelle, which is wrandyshort@gmail.com. There's Venmo, Dr. Randy Short, and there's a Patreon, Dr. Randy Short. It's very easy to find me, and you may email me, wrandyshort@gmail.com. I do talk to intelligent people. Please don't come with psychiatric issues. I'm I'm not your pastor, okay? Thank you, Brother Dwan B. And remind everybody, I do have a YouTube channel called the Angry Black Men's Book Club. So I thank you.
Black Men's Book Club on
Yes.
YouTube.
They shadow ban it a lot because, we just keep it real. Thank you, Dewan B. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Dr. Ben Short.
All right. Bye.
Good one.
Okay.
That was Dr. Randy Short. Appreciate the Famously Black guy. I appreciate the...
Okay, guys. I just want y'all to share that because that go on the Patreon. Hey, Alabama, how you doing? Oh, my God. Everybody, it's cool. I thank everybody. I'll be doing more. Somebody gave me a computer last year, and I was able to get Firefox. I never liked it, but it was able to get me in StreamYard. because they changed the StreamYard platform, and they changed Google. And my old computer that's about 14 years old, everybody knows I'm frugal. God bless Alabama and everybody on here. Like I said, if you want to email me, because I don't have this interactive yet, but it can happen. You can always email me. I try to respond to people as best I can at wrandyshort@gmail.com. That's a PayPal, that's a Zelle, and it's an email I respond to. Hello to everybody, North and South Alabama. Everybody in particular, I'm going to shout out to Black Americans, but everybody. And to all the good white people. I had some good white people in my family. A couple of them were abolitionists. Then I had some bad white people. I had some no good black people in my family. One of the no good black people in my family is a distant cousin. It's Hakeem Jeffries. Now, his uncle, who I like, Leonard Jeffries, is very cool. Hakeem and them are not representing us. Damn. Let's have a bunch of gangsters and coons. Every black family is full. Man, we're going to have real problems because we have a lot of scammer, sellout people in our families. All I can say is I'm trying to be for real. I want to thank everyone that's been a blessing. And thank you. You've been a comfort. And I don't look bad for stage 4 cancer. I'm not in pain, although they say your PSA is up. I'm hoping, and eventually I'm going to do a GoFundMe because Mom and I need to do a road trip. We're going to a place that's called North Austin Urology. They do ultrasound treatments for cancer. And I would rather do that than have someone say, we're going to put an infusion in your buttocks. An infusion? That I told this person, damn, it sounds like my life is over. I have to take pills, get titties, and get stuck in their ass. I'd rather have the cancer. I just don't want nobody to stick me in my behind. I don't want titties. I said, you know what, you know what? He said, they won't be that big. I said, no, doctor. If I took those pills that give you titties, I'm the kind of person that would get 3 or 4. And then everybody think I was transitioning. I'm not doing it. So pray for me. I look forward. I can't imagine I'm 60 years old. Remembering hearing my dad crying over Malcolm X. Wow. Almost 60 years ago. Wow. It's been a very interesting journey. I'm going to have other people talking, and I continue to amass my books. I feel better, and I'll just tell you, so we can do more. I wanted to do more. I had no idea I would have, for like 3 years. Starting the 13th next week, it was 3 years of health crises. I would have much rather been on here talking to y'all, joking, reading, and all that instead of this, in and out of the doctor's office. I always thought that was for someone else, for old people. But then again, 60 is old for some folks. I have a lot of friends dead. Today, I was a little late. I had to do something really hurtful. There was a young man by the name of Johnny Coleman II from Illinois, and he was close to Mr. Peter Bailey. You can look him up. He's a very dear friend of Malcolm X. He's like an uncle to me. And I had to tell him that Johnny had died and he was going, he was 49. So I guess I'm old compared to a person that died at 49. Check your health, but don't completely trust doctors. Talk to herbalists, naturopathic people, do that. I may do another one of these. In fact, I'm probably going to do something maybe about 6 o'clock. So if you guys are so enthused, I don't know, I might keep doing this. In fact, maybe I should call someone and ask them, when do they want to do this thing? Because I'm celebrating my birthday all year, right? All year. And because it's great. And when I think about it, my dad passed at 69, so I'm just 9 years away from where my father was just before he passed. Wow. That's how time flies. Hi, Memphis, Tennessee. I hope everybody's good. We will be talking. I want to figure out what the next step is. I'm waiting for a mixing board so we can get this sound together. There's much, but we are here. Um, I want everybody to be encouraged. I want to remind people today is, I can't believe it's Friday. Tomorrow I will be doing because, yep, I'm a Bible believer, but, everybody has a vice. Mine is, this basically says what I believe in, Theo. But tomorrow I'll be doing a sermon, maybe about 1:30, 2 o'clock. The title is Stop in the Name of Love. And I'll be talking about the deliverance, and liberation, godly liberation for his people and preconditions. So if you're a God-fearing person and you want to hear an interesting biblical take from a historical perspective from a person that believes, I'm not begging people for money 24/7. I don't want to molest anyone's children. I don't want to cheat with anyone's wife or husband. I'm not trying to build a huge piece of real estate that's non-economical and bankrupt people, but I do think, man, life is so much better with God. If you understand, whenever I go and see the doctors, and they always are tapping on my back, supposedly I have a tumor in my back that's supposed to cause me excruciating pain. I'm not supposed to be able to sit up or really walk without great difficulty. And here I am. When someone shows you you've got this on your back and you're supposed to be in extreme pain, and the only pain I had was with this flu that I got from my mother hugging on people at funerals. I have to tell you, why isn't this thing hurting me other than it's the grace of God? Okay? I used to not talk about, but I realized I see so many people lost, depressed, confused, hopeless. There's something to it. I'm sitting up. In fact, my back used to hurt more before I was told I had this supposed tumor. I don't know. Go figure. But let's sing this song in church. It's real. It is real if you're dealing with real people that genuinely believe and care. So I want everybody to be good to each other. Avoid the germs and diseases. If you can't donate, wish and pray for me. I want to go to a raw diet. I am a chicken-loving black man. I love me some chicken, and I like a little bit of bacon, but I can lay off the bacon, the chicken. I think I can do that too. I've got to try to eat raw stuff. So I got my juicer. I'm going to be juicing stuff, and juicing's good for you. You just need to have some things raw. So I'm going to try to have a more raw diet. That way I won't be as fat as I am, because I got I have a little bit of Thanksgiving turkey neck under here. So I need to drop off about 30 some odd pounds. And other than that, what is this thing? Okay. It's gotten warm. It's been hot and cold, whatever. But let me stop here because I'm going to do a show, and I'll try to send out a notice. I'm doing a show with Quentin, and I'll tell y'all all about it. So I want to thank everybody. Diggs. By the way, Diggs, I have relatives named Diggs. They're from Maryland, going back 400 years. Child of Ogun, peace. And of course, write me. I do respond to emails. I'm going to stop for now. And I appreciate you. I hope. I don't think I'm really saying anything. I often wonder, am I wasting you guys' time? I'm always perplexed, but people want to hear. I can't wait to get back to things I want to do. And so if the good Lord lets me make it, we're going to be back at this. And I am going to try to get this sister. She is an elder named Nellie Hester Bailey. She's an activist. I think it's called the Harlem Tenant coalition, and I want to do what I can to help her. Hey, how you doing? Zoom testing, and yeah, but my email, of course, in the screen, the Cash App is there, and if you can look around, you see books. I'm not spending it going out to eat with women of other races. I buy books mostly, just to have them researched. People call me, I help them out, and also if it gets warmer, I'm going to resume doing genealogical research. And in as much as I have disability welfare, I can do research for people, and I'll try to I may do a spring sale. So we'll talk about it. It's all good. Uh, but the most important thing, be nice to each other. It's getting dark, so it's the beginning of Sabbath. Let me stop for now. And again, if you want to communicate, I was just telling, I could call Neely Fuller if I wanted to talk to him. I could call Dick Gregory. I could call Julian Bond. I mean, some of these people are historic. I could call C. DeVoice Tucker. I can think of a lot of people. I could call Bob Moses. A lot of people you hear about, I mean, they were people you could talk to. So if you communicate, and it's like quality, not something like, man, I want to sleep with these two twins. Which one should I do first? D- Don't bring me that. But other things, I try to. I can't respond to everything, but I will try. I'm going to stop here. I just want people to know that you're worth it and you matter to God. And I'm out of here for now. I'll be back, and I'll be here tomorrow. And I might, Sunday, I think I may do something early. I'm not into football, especially when we don't own the teams. So the blooper bowl. But let me stop here. I'll see you guys. Reach out if you need me. Bye. Bye, guys. Bye.